Alrighty, we are back. This game you don't see every day. I had to post it in my channel, YouTube channel. This is 1 minute game. I never played this guy before, but he looks very strong player. Was black, so he played d4, c6 here, d5, c4, knight f6, queen b3. I'm pretty much around here. I was interested to play the Semislav. This is very typical Semislav ideas. Knight g3, a6, bishop f4, b5. This is actually an interesting line. Takes. The idea is bishop b7. e3, knight over, bishop d3, knight b6. I felt comfortable after knight b6 because I felt like knight c4 is pretty annoying. Castles, knight c4. a4 is actually an interesting move, dealing with c4 right now. So b4, knight a2. I felt like really here I'm doing very good. a5. Now I was preparing here, bishop a6. The idea is to win in exchange. We walked into this. Except the problem here, when he took here, I was like, okay, if I do this, he could play queen c6. And then I have to block, and he started moving his rook over here. And he has strong pressure on d7. And he's up a pawn and did not win anything. So I decided to play bishop d7 here instead of, bishop a6. I felt like my two bishops are pretty good. Knight d5. Rook here. I actually had a problem here after rook c1. I had the chance to do this, but I felt like my knight is really strong. It just should not exchange on f4. So I played rook c8, queen e6, bishop e7. There's some point maybe you could take, maybe not now, but there's some lines you could do it. So takes here. So queen e8, maybe I could have considered this, and then maybe castles and maybe some queen d5. There's still potentially could attack on b3. So I played here, trading, and to my surprise now, there's no longer a case of knight takes because he just moved his bishop. And it becomes now like he has a pawn. No compensation whatsoever, I don't think. I actually still feel like I have some activity, but it's not enough, I don't think. Would be happy it was a draw. There's some concern about the knight being on e2, not active, so he would try to get it activated. So here, and I'm just trading down, not sure why, but bishop is coming over here, so king f1. So the reason of king f1 basically is getting the king in the center, and it makes sense to continue doing, just moving around. So bishop d3, I'm just trying to make moves here. This is bowl game. This is not meant to be a classical game. And knight c1 is one way to attack on d3. So I don't know if bishop d3 makes sense, helping him out to move with a tempo, attacking my bishop. So I went back. It looks like it's a pointless move. Knight d2. So things are getting exciting right now after knight d2. Knight over. It looks like I'm making moves, but there's an issue with white not moving the pieces comfortably. Like, for example, he can't play here. This is actually the point of knight c3. Is that he can't play knight e2, stopping him from being active. So he plays e4, play the f6. So I'm stopping any pawn push. I could simply take. So f3, king d6, king f2. Now, the point of this puzzle, the point of this game, it's actually a puzzle, believe it or not. After g5, there's a reason why g5 is being played so I could stop f4. I felt like around here that you could play g3, f4, and he could still try to get to e5 and perhaps find a way around this position. You also have to be extremely careful here that do not, because the king could go to d5 in some lines, and he's still not fully activated his knight on c1. So, to my surprise, the next move is a shocker after g5. And you don't see this every day. And that's the point of this game, this video. Could you pause the video and come up with a puzzle move that you should simply win the game? You know, if it takes you 5 minutes, spend 5 minutes, you know, to find the solution. We always tell people to take their time when dealing with any kind of tactics. You take their time. If you find it so fast, congrats. If not, there's always room for improvement doing a lot of puzzles. So the move that seems to be is that the issue around king e3 is actually the king is being stuck around the pawns and the knight is sitting on d3. I saw the idea, of course. It took me maybe like a second or two to see it, and I was able to, you know, I was happy about it. And you don't see this every day. It's actually knight d1. Knight d1 is actually checkmate. It's not even like a shack, it's just checkmate. And the reason is, as I said, the pawns is blocking the king's way. The knight is blocking the king's way, and the bishop is also stopping all the key squares. King d3 is being stopped, king d2. And I felt like this is actually, having played in 25 years over the board and online chess, I don't see this happen often, like this type of checkmate. It's really nice to see when you do it. And I felt like this is a point of sharing it with you folks. So even in endgames like this, limited pieces in the board, you could always find checkmates. I felt like this was instructive in some ways. And hopefully you guys enjoy this video. More videos to come. Perhaps more tactics, more openings, and more competitive games against grandmasters and so on. Thank you folks, and take care.